but she had an identical twin. The mad thing is, we heard a my man outside just laugh. Okay.
I'm a star. No, sorry, got my father
Hello, guys, and welcome back. Welcome back to the CrunchTime podcast. We're on episode 8. So you're joined by myself, Manny. We've got...
And always TJ.
But what you may have realised now is, sadly, we don't have an Astra. There's no Astra to my left, right, north, east, south, west. You know what I'm saying? Stay blessed. But yeah, what we've discussed as well with Astra is... Astra, if you didn't know, is an amazing musician. And ultimately, he's decided that he really wants to focus on curating the stuff he has, developing some of the new music he's got, and also just like pushing himself further through music. So we have, it's a mutual thing.
Exactly.
And also, like, we're wishing him all the best. And if you haven't listened to his music,
we'll
got to check it out.
Yeah, we'll put a link in there. But
of course.
we support him through it. So we want to kind of make that announcement and move on from that.
Exactly.
The next thing.
Said we wish him, all the best as well on his journey. I'm definitely going to be checking out the next concert he does. That's for sure.
100.
But for now, it's Manny and TJ. So yeah, let's go straight into it. I got a question for you, bro.
Okay.
I got a question.
These are normally controversial on here.
Yeah.
I feel like these are So hit me.
It's already been in a few raps and stuff. People have said this. But basically, I ain't trying to get you cancelled here.
Okay.
But if the love of your life, sadly, God forbid, I ain't trying to talk about, if the love of your life sadly passed away, but she had an identical twin. The mad thing is, we heard a my man outside just laugh.
Okay.
That's right. But if the love of your life passed away, but she had an identical twin, what would you do, bro? Like, would you try and reignite some kind of identical in every single way?
When you say just literally like
bro,
copy paste.
genes, copy paste.
Okay.
Control C, Control V.
And is she into me? Because that's the thing. You could be saying this and she could just be like, yeah.
I mean, it's questionable. There's been a few questionable times.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's
what are you doing?
Such a hard question.
Yeah. Obviously, like, the views expressed are. I ain't trying to get you in hot water.
Wow.
But like,
It depends. Depends.
On
years.
Yeah, sure.
How soon are we talking? Because I might be in
yeah.
I don't think I could be around that personally, because it would just be too similar. I'd be there like,
little
like,
flashes,
sorry.
moments.
Yeah, you'll have them like flashbacks, and then like you'll have deja vu all the time, like.
Or you'd wake up.
On? Yeah,
nah.
You couldn't do it.
Really?
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah,
because it'd just be too similar.
It'd be a bit too on the nose. Do you know what I mean?
It'd be too real.
Regardless of even if it was identical or not, I think
I would still call her the same name.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Like I'd be there like, oh fuck, no, it's
not.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
sorry.
No, you're the sister. You're not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. R.I.P. Yeah.
No, I couldn't.
I got asked the question. And I was like, wait, it just sounds a bit mad as well, because I get it. Yeah, if it's like been the love of your life, depends on how many years or whatever. But also, regardless, if someone you were like seeing passed away, and then what the identical twin was like, hey, what are you telling me? Like, I think it would just be too weird.
I just couldn't see her though. That's the thing. Like even if I wasn't going to date her or anything, exactly. Bro. I just couldn't even be in the same room because I'd get confused.
Yeah.
I'd be there like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It'd be too weird. I'd be like,
same mannerisms once in a while, and then and you'd be
they'll
like,
do the same things as well. Like they'll do things that you're like.
Yeah.
Like deja vu will be every time you're around. Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Every holiday.
So what about you? Is that? What's your
no, 100% no. Like, I couldn't do it. I think it'd be mad. I think, like I said, it would just be a bit too... First of all, I'm always a thing about, like, having a moment of, like, really unpacking it and then being like, right, let's move on. You would never really be able to fully recover from it because you would see their face basically every single day. Bro, you wake up, you're turning around on your shoulder and you say, right, is that... Oh, wait. Nah, R.I.P. But yeah, but deep it. When
Turn
you,
around,
you say, "Oh, okay."
Is that Ghost?
No, wait.
Oh, no, I've remembered.
It's her sister. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it because of that. First and foremost, like it'd just be a bit too much to handle every single day. But you know what I mean? R.I.P. Yeah.
But whatever you think, guys, you know, make sure to drop that in the comments. And,
Exactly. What
and
would
have a
you
discussion. Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Innit?
Yeah.
Trust me.
But now, like, we're getting straight into it as well. So obviously what we're going to discuss today, this is the disclaimer. We just have to do it as well. Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
Why are you laughing?
You got all serious.
Yeah, I had to be like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Funny guy, I said, listen. So like, what we're about to be discussing, the views are just information that we have found online. We've looked at both sides, for and against. They may not specifically be our views, but we're just using these the information in the form of a debate. So yeah, we just thought we would clear it up now, innit? You know, I ain't trying to
exactly.
Gotta be serious with it.
So we're gonna get straight into it. So we thought to discuss this today, and obviously you probably heard about it, you've probably seen it in the media. So we're talking about the Russell Brand allegations that's recently happened. So as you're probably familiar with, obviously Russell Brand, he's been accused recently of many different allegations on a sexual nature, and obviously with that being said, what's basically happened is these allegations took place between 2003 and 2013, where it's kind of at the height of his fame, which now he denies all of these claims and said everything that ever happened, which obviously was classed as sexual assault, was all kind of, like consensual, isn't it? Like he said that everything was, always agreed. At the time, these allegations that are being brought back into the media and back into obviously into light, he was at BBC Channel 4 and he was in kind of major Hollywood movies at this times. And at the moment, there have been 4 women who's come forward, who's made these allegations between that 2003 and 2013. And also, with that being said, there's more coming forward as we speak as well.
Yeah, and obviously these allegations have come through this year. It's also been a year which has been quite interesting because earlier in the year, Russell Brand was publicly exposing major corporations and governments on popular talk shows and podcasts. I believe we even have like a short clip of like
I'm gonna play a short clip.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll be able to hear it.
Yeah.
And we'll put it obviously in the video as well.
Yeah.
At least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than 2/3 of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 million in profit in 2022. And may I just mention, finally, and this is also a fact, that the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis. Yes.
So yeah, as you probably heard from all that, he's obviously been massively exposing different kind of corporations and obviously governments about what's recently been happening. A lot of social media sources are claiming that these allegations are heavily confidential to have come to light, especially months before he said all these things, and months before he's obviously been on these big, TV programs. Well, sorry, not TV. Well, yeah, TV programs. Tonight Show is massive in America. He's been on different podcasts exposing these type of things, and that's just one clip. He's obviously been on. Sorry, one show he's been on that we've clipped, and he's obviously been exposing them.
Yeah, and I think it is interesting because you showed me a video. Was it? Yeah, we were discussing it yesterday, and you showed me a video where Brand was actually stating that he was almost preempting that something was about to happen in terms of allegations that were going to come out, and he was saying that it was almost being used as a smear campaign. Yeah, and I think I think the whole situation is interesting because at the same time, I kind of stand within the place of being someone, regardless of it was how many years ago, being someone of that like high stature in society, you have a certain responsibility with that power you have. Yeah. And I just don't, I'm not one to kind of sit here and like, I understand what he's doing now, but I think the accusations they aren't light. Do you know, these are quite serious things during the height of his fame, the height of his influence, the amount of the influence he had on people. And I think that's just that's a thing that I get why a lot of people are like, yeah, but maybe it might have been like a sense of a conspiracy, but he still he still did it.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
don't take anything away from from the victims.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, it's something that's, you know, it's a very tough topic, and obviously, you know, it's something that you would never want to wish on anybody. And you know, I think it goes to the fact of that when you're in a height of a celebrity, people just don't believe you. So you go into these things where, you know, in 2003, she might have felt like if she stepped forward and went, oh, you know, Russell Brand had these, you know, made these allegations against him. She felt like nobody's going to believe her. And obviously, I think that goes back to everything that happens. You know, it takes one and then more come out. You know, we could talk about many different people, you know, Jimmy Savile, etc., etc. It only took one person to come out. And then obviously it kind of leads on to more and more people going, oh, actually, I feel more confident to speak, and etc. I think obviously the conspiracies that are coming out, and obviously the social media sources what are saying that, I think obviously it's very, as always, it's very kind of like cancel culture. You know, it's very kind of, like I said, just very massively coincidental that he was literally on these big talk shows and big podcasts exposing all these big corporations about the profits they're making, about crisis and stuff, and leading people into this, and it's like the world's gone, right, how can we silence this guy? Let's bring up these allegations from time ago, and you know what I mean? It's I think like that's how they're trying to portray what's currently happening. They're currently trying to say, like, you know, the only reason that this is happening is because he's speaking out. If he didn't speak out, then would these allegations come out, and etc. And obviously, we never know these type of things. We never know what people are hiding. But I just think, obviously, it's very, you know, obviously, I'm not taking any side. Obviously, like I said again, you know, you want to
look at both sides.
Yeah, you want to look on both sides, and I think it's very kind of strange that there's video of him literally saying that in a couple of months or a couple of weeks, there's some serious allegations about to come out against me. Like he was preempting it. He was basically saying, I believe that something's going to be, because I'm getting too close to the truth. I'm telling people the truth. And it happens all the time. Like, look at like Andrew Tate. The investigation for him was going on for 18 plus months, still not found anything against him. You know, that cancel culture is really kind of dominant when somebody's trying to expose these big pillars of society, really.
I think on the devil's advocate part, we have to also be mindful that these people where cancel culture seems to be like really getting, or these people aren't saints.
No, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's because it is a very fine line, because a lot of people nowadays are like, a lot of people do mention cancel culture, and on one side it has good benefits, but on the other there becomes a mob mentality. But I do feel a lot of people are almost being like martyred for it. Like Russell Brand, a lot of people are on this thing of, but he was exposing people, whatever. I'm like, yeah, but we need to actually look at still what he's like, still what he's done is exactly what these 4 women are claiming to have happened.
Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Obviously, it's one of them things where, you know, looking at him and looking at the past and his, you know, his
like
history,
he has
it's very
such a
booky.
history.
It's very booky. Like, such a womanizer, etc.
Yeah, like,
and I saw a study. I think it was I saw like a story, and it was talking about Piers Morgan, how he was speaking about how, obviously because Katy Perry was married to him, wasn't she?
Yeah. That's crazy. He was married to Katy Perry.
Weird. That was,
do you know what I mean?
Weird,
he went from
such a
like
weird relationship when it came out.
He went from like British TV to marrying Katy Perry. Like,
such a random person. Not a random person, but like,
no, that is
just
random, bro.
Random for him to like. Do you know what I mean? I remember when I was like a teenager, I was like, this is such a weird relationship.
Brothers from Essex, and then went to marry Katy Perry. Like,
but yeah, so I remember she's come out recently and said that she had a nickname for him. I can't remember the nickname. That's really going to really gonna bother me. But she had a nickname for him, which basically meant like womanizer or like yeah. And it was around a song that the Queen, I think the Queen, the band released.
Yeah.
I will put it on the screen, but I can't remember for the life of me what nickname she had. But it was basically like there was a song about a certain person, and they called it something, and that's what the nickname she used to have for him, which just shows that. You know, he's always been kind of like on the line of, you know, and some of his jokes that you can like that people's put in since, like people's just released on these news articles about obviously him and said, look, these are some of the jokes he's had in the past and so on. They're always on the line.
Yeah, he's been on talk shows. I've seen the ones where there's been video because there are videos now just always coming to the top of the news feeds and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But he's on talk shows and he makes these open jokes to like someone who's come on the like the Graham Norton show.
It's weird, isn't it?
And they're like,
I
wasn't, because obviously you have to pre-plan or preempt what's going to be said, but he doesn't do that. So sometimes it's like he would then just, like he's dropped a joke and you can literally see them like reeling, like, oh, I don't want to, but I have to play the game because the cameras are here and all that stuff. So, and I just feel that is like, I think what I tend to really sit with is that like, it feels like that abuse of power ultimately.
Of course.
I know we've, and also it's like, I know it happened so long ago, but this is also a thing of, I think the main question is why aren't these corporations actually taking more of a heavier stance on it? Yeah,
and actually taking it forward, because obviously...
it seems like it's a well-known, but it's a well-known secret
that's literally what
these corporations.
Reading some of these articles, people's come out like celebrities used to be around him at these times. That was obviously these allegations were made.
Yeah,
apparently BBC told people to be careful of him, don't answer back to him.
Like precautions.
Basically, don't question him on this. And it's like, well, if these things are already known, why are you already giving him this light, giving him this kind of big, like this big stage? If you've already having to tell people, just hold back a minute, like don't say this certain things to him, don't say this, and it's just a bit there, like, do you know what I mean? Like you can't give someone that kind of like guidance and then still kind of. And that's why it goes back to, it's there, like, it's like I said to you, it's like if I was a good woman and I came to you tomorrow, or even if I was a man and I came to you tomorrow and said, this big celebrity has obviously had, you know, done a sexual assault on me, etc., etc. Obviously, you're my boy and you probably would believe me, but at the end of the day, you're still going to be there like, what are you on about? Like, come on now. Like, this
everyone's
person's
different.
such a big of their career, they're not gonna want to do that. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to think that. So like, when you go into these big corporations and putting these allegations in, they're just probably not going to even bother with him. And I think that's a sad thing about it. It's like, until one person comes out and the next person, it's not, you know, it's going to have a knock-on effect.
That's the thing.
It's just, that's how sadly it happens. And it's just like, I just think it's really wrong with these corporations to kind of only bring it out now and only kind of like, his career's not up and running anymore. Like, he's trying to make himself more known by doing these type of things. That's the only reason he's saying these saying these like exposing like
these
claims, to get himself his name back in there. And it's now they're like, oh, he's getting too big. Do you know what I mean? And then they're trying to cancel him. But I just think it's amazing that even back in the day when these allegations were happening, these situations were happening, and obviously they weren't being brought into the mainstream. That people were literally warning people to be careful with him.
Yeah, but it's interesting because ultimately we're talking about that time for these corporations. That was a time when brand benefited them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
brand benefited them not just monetary, but for like public star power.
Yeah, because he was known as that
everywhere.
Yeah.
He was like British, like home. Everyone knew him. My mum doesn't even watch a lot of TV, and she's like, "Oh, Russell Brand." I'm like, "Huh? You don't even?" Yeah. She knew about the whole Katy Perry thing. She was so aware, and that's really interesting because he was such a household name. But now, obviously, it's like, well, you don't benefit us anymore. Yeah. So I understand that aspect of like. Very interesting as he's trying to like reform himself, make himself a better person. But ultimately, it then comes back to those like skeletons in the closet. Course. You got to be very mindful. Not even just the entertainment industry, but it's just like you know, where you lay your head. Do you know what I mean?
It's just crazy to think like,
Yeah.
what else is just like, not just obviously him, but what else happens that we just don't know, and they just get swept under the rug.
And that's the thing with I was checking some stats, obviously, about like sexual assault in England and Wales.
Yeah.
And there was a stat saying like 5 in 6 women who are assaulted don't actually report. Same for 4 in 5 men. And because 40% say just out of embarrassment, 38% say they just don't think the police will help, and then 34% say it will just be humiliating. Even with cases that are reported, they said it also takes around up to 2 years for it to even get to court. And as right now, as it stands, in terms of like sexual assault cases, waiting to go to court, there are over 9,000 cases still waiting to get to the courts thing.
This is just the UK, or that's
England and Wales. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and I think that's not even with like celebrity status. That's just the everyday like Joes and stuff like that. But I can't then imagine. I think from the women's point of view, I can't imagine how insane that would be. Because not only,
well, think about it. Sorry to interrupt, but think about it. Like 20 years. The first claim was in 2003. That's 20 years later that she's only now feeling comfortable to come out.
Or like, but then also how much that changes in terms of news reports outside your house every day.
Yeah.
Like you're constantly being stopped and asked questions. Now your local community knows about it. Like that's a lot. I can understand why a lot of people wouldn't even want to come out in the first place.
Say it,
But and also like with families, you know, there's a lot of things that
stop you.
There are a lot of like factors to it.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
But this is I'm going to play like devil advocate here. I think this is something that I think it's a truth really. I think, let's say 2003, obviously social media is nothing.
It was
there's not really
2004.
There's not really any Instagram. There's not Facebook. I think YouTube was just a couple of years before that.
Yeah,
2002, I think it was YouTube.
Yeah.
Or it could even be 2005, you know, YouTube could be. Anyway, back then, there's no social media, no Instagram, no Twitter, no nothing. Nothing like that. So do you think that back then, these people think they could get away with it so much easier because you don't have a voice? You don't have a voice like we do now. Because I can go on Instagram Live right now and speak, and it could get millions and millions of views, could get posted everywhere. Back in 2003, that could never happen.
No,
today, they probably are more careful with their actions because they know that they can be exposed so quickly.
Yeah.
Because all it takes is a photo. Literally, all it takes is a photo in bed with
not
the
even
person.
a video anymore.
Literally.
Just a photo. That's crazy.
All you need to do is take a photo of you in bed with a celebrity.
Yeah.
And you could twist it and turn it, and you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like social media is such a big thing that has helped this a lot more. Because I feel like right now, I guarantee if Russell Brand was in the same situation, he wouldn't probably never have thought about doing what obviously these allegations are back in 2003. He would never have done them now. Because I feel like there's just so much more light that can be brought to it. I feel like back then, it's just quiet. You can't really, other than literally telling your friends and telling the big corporations and reporting it, there's nothing else you can post.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Right now, I could post it on Twitter, I could post it on here.
Because you would just have to go straight to the police.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have
that can just be there, and people would look at you like I said earlier, like Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't believe you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just goes on here, it goes on that kind of case where now we could be there like, here's a photo, here's evidence of me texting him, etc., etc. You didn't have that back then.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the main differences of these cases on these allegations and these obviously sexual assault cases being brought forward, because it's like, I have a voice now. Do you see what I mean?
I think there's more, I would definitely say in terms of a benefit, a lot of, I think victims of these cases can actually, I would say, have more of a voice in that sense of, they have evidence. There's evidence now, which is a lot more easier to obtain. Yeah. You know, compared to then, definitely. Like, I think only then probably be like text messages and like a few other things. But I think it's a good thing in order for people to have that. But I still think it's like, it's still, regardless of like, oh, but that was 20 years ago. I think I still believe it's like, the like, everything that happens will always come back. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, no, I agree with that.
And I think that's why I'm always like, what's also interesting is you ask people about like, do you think he did, like, this conversation's come about, And 9 out of 10 times, most people don't even like bat their eyelids, being like, "No, I don't think he did it." That's what I mean. His character is so out there that people are like, "Yeah, I think he's a sus guy."
I just think
Do you know what I'm saying?
I just think it's a cancel culture that kind of brings that into why people think it's not as well. Because obviously it just it's like I said, it's just some people would look at that and go, well, it just doesn't make sense that these have just come out again now that he's exposing it. But it's just like, yeah, but you got to look at it in that they were always going to come at some point, depending on what happened, and it brings back to the social media thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously not taking any away from obviously these people who's had these allegations, who's made these allegations, because we give our full support to them, because it's to bury them for so long and be able to only come out
the
now.
mental toll.
Exactly.
Jesus, yeah.
So I agree. I think obviously his history is very sus and so on. I do think it's very coincidental that it's come out now when he's starting to expose these big corporations. It's like they're trying to silence him with stuff they already know
to
about.
suppress him and be like, well, we held on to this secret for you. That's why I find
that's why I think it's slightly. That's why reading these stories and hearing that he's basically, people known his character know to keep away from him. It's like, well, these big corporations knew then. So all they've done now is gone, right, we need to silence him quick. What have we got against him? Searching through the files, like, oh, yes, we've got these allegations from 2003. Bring them out. More people step forward. Boom. He's buried.
But also,
obviously they're true. I'm not taking away from them that they're not true. I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to say is that because he's got a voice and he's exposing these things, it's there that they're like, crap, how are we going to silence him?
And ultimately, they're not benefiting him anymore.
Exactly.
Because they'll be like, you can get done, lads. Yeah.
Exactly. And
especially if you're coming for like Pfizer and all these people with 100 billion revenue. You're telling me these people probably don't have ways to be like, that person. Nah.
And to be fair, he is so right. Like, the things he's saying, the things he's exposing is incredibly so true. Like, this government and this world literally profits of natural crises and natural disasters, not natural disasters, like man-made crises like war. We profit off that. We profit off the vaccines. It's like I say with the Pfizer vaccine. Literally, like I think it was a couple of years after the vaccine came out. There was a video and there was like a representative from Pfizer literally saying that the Pfizer vaccine would never protect you against COVID or contracting it or giving it out. It wasn't 100%. It wasn't 100%
conclusive.
It wasn't 100% conclusive.
I got all three.
Exactly.
No,
same.
but
But literally, they literally came out and the study literally was shown that a Pfizer representative literally said that the vaccine wasn't 100%. Was going to 100% stop you from contracting the virus. Wasn't going to protect you. It was never really tested as long as it should have been tested, which is true. Because you think about medicine,
that got pushed up.
It doesn't take. It takes years to define a proper medicine. So I understand a lot of things he's saying. Obviously, the war thing, energy crisis, they benefit from that. The oil, the obviously Putin with the war situation,
Ukraine,
him obviously not producing our oil and etc. and providing that's made a cut. That's upped the prices, so it's made profits for these energy companies. What he's saying is true. This is just what they don't want you to hear. So obviously that's why they're trying to silence him, and they've got obviously evidence against him, and now he's going to be quiet, and nobody's going to. Well, they think that nobody's going to believe him, etc. And we'll see what happens from here, but. I just think cancel culture is a big thing. I think it's very mad that they just keep things like in like a little black book, and then they're like, right, when are we going to be able to release these? Do you know what I mean? Like this little book they have on so many different people. I think it's like when they start becoming a voice, let's start flying things out against them to make them quiet, basically.
Yeah. I'm always just interested as well, because if it wasn't someone of a celebrity status who was saying these things, I mean, they probably just wouldn't be listened to, then, would they? Yeah. I'm just thinking about that now.
That's what I'm saying, because he has a big platform. Like, he's still quite well known. Do you know
what
I mean?
He does his like videos and stuff. But, well,
I mean, coming in exactly, probably not now. Coming a couple of months, probably the next few weeks, we'll see, because it's quite fresh. Obviously, it was only Monday more people came forward. Literally the 18th.
Yeah. Wow, really? It's only been 12 days.
23rd was more people come forward or something like that.
Still,
so it's literally last week coming into this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one of them ones. We'll see what happens really.
Keep me posted with this one. I'm glad that was a good one we talked about, because I think we do have like very. Like, even when we have the football ones, or when we can really get into like Adam 22 and stuff.
This is serious talk.
Yeah, it's
Adam
just nice.
2022.
Adam 2022. Yeah. But nice.
But yeah, I think you've got something really kind of bizarre.
I have
talking about, like,
it is
mentioning this.
It's a very new one, actually, live, fresh off the press. All right. So this one is now about these newly sanctioned drug rooms. People are talking about in.
I've heard about this
in Glasgow, of all places as well. So I'll give you a quick overview, but since the beginning of talks happening, apparently there've been 5 prime ministers, 2 first ministers, and constant endless debates, and excuse me, more than like 6,000 deaths related to drug use since this idea has been even wanting to be made. And what they've realized is like the death rate has actually been spiraling in the past decade. So Glasgow, unfortunately, has been started to be labelled as this like the epicenter of like drug deaths in Europe, which is quite an intense thing,
mad,
especially when.
In Europe as well.
In Europe.
Quite a big place.
It's like when they used to say UK was like the heaviest drinkers in Europe, but it was like, oh, for a tiny island, that's mad, actually.
Quite mad. So just for Glasgow.
Just for
Europe.
But just for Glasgow, it's crazy as well, because what they're saying is, with these rooms, ultimately they're being used for people who use quite hard drugs, like heroin, for example. There's been quite like a rise on the heroin epidemic going on there. But they're trying to use these rooms, as experts say, in order to persuade people to use different health services and like cut crimes, because they're moving users indoors to a more safe, controlled environment. This idea's been floating around since 2016, bear in mind.
Wow.
But it first of all failed to get off the ground, because the Home Office were like, well, no, we're not going to allow addicts to break the law to feed their habits, plain and simple.
Literally.
But this has been going on for years, like I said, between Edinburgh and London. But now it's now used as a discretion. So you can allow these injecting rooms to actually go ahead. And that's what they've also realized, that to inject it, there's no law against. It's actually just getting the product in the first place. So
wait, sorry. So you're saying injecting heroin is legal.
So to inject,
but to buy it,
the video you sent, the video you sent me, to inject it, it wasn't. There's no like actual like crime against injecting, but then to actually procure it, to actually get the product is the issue. Do you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that
was the video. That was that.
That is literally a drug dealer's dream. He could just walk into there and he is sound.
Oh, he's definitely not like. There's like police everywhere, bro.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it doesn't matter. You pretend to be an addict to walk in.
Nah,
and then you just be dealing left, right, and center. You be making pee, bro.
Bro,
you be making pee.
They're definitely not just rocking up saying, yo, welcome, thanks for coming. Yeah. All right, you want a little? Nah, bro. They're definitely being patted down before they get in there.
Yeah, but they'll have drugs on them for a drug room.
But then they'll be like, oh yeah, cool. Gee, if you're walking in with like several bags of it, but
all bag it all.
I think shut up now. But I think what's interesting, a lot of people are saying, on one side it's good, but on the other side it is controversial, because obviously it's not cheap as well. It's going to be taking a ring fence estimate of like 2.3 million every year in order for these pilots just to start happening in several cities, and that all depends on the success in Glasgow. What a lot of people are saying, and experts are claiming, is hopefully that this, if it helps to decrease the deaths, then they can operate this on a wider scale. But for now, it's never ever been done in this kind of way on UK shores before.
I get it with the whole kind of like, it's obviously going to stop deaths and etc. Like
crime rates as well.
Isn't it just encouraging more people to do drugs because you're in a safer environment? Like, surely you're encouraging people to take drugs in a safer environment where they're not going to be stopped, they're not going to be attacked, they're not going to be robbed, etc., etc. You're just literally encouraging people to do drugs in a safer environment. Surely that's going to increase the drug intake, because if I was on the streets and you're there like, you know what I mean? Like, surely it's going to increase people to take drugs. Like, surely that's just going to skyrocket that, because people are going to be there like, well, I can literally take my drugs.
12-hour a day operation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so surely somebody's going to be there like, well, this is just a safer place for me to be. I can take drugs cleanly. I'm not going to be stopped. I'm not going to be worried. I can just trip out here and not have to. I think the money they're going to be pumping into it, and we have far worse problems. They're saying that we haven't got money for different things in the world right now. Well, in this country, sorry. But we've got money to fund, like, we've got money to fund people's addiction, basically. Like, we're basically giving addicts a free space to like, literally get high. Like...
Yeah, I think...
it just doesn't make sense.
I think also because it is so specific, I thought it was just UK in general, but obviously Glasgow, like Scotland, it's a wider field. So I'm not really as aware of what's going on in like Glasgow as well. But reading this and being like, oh damn, there's been like 7,000 deaths from this. It seems like it seems, especially in a place like that, this is quite a big issue. Do you know?
I get that, but again, it's like spending money on literally giving people a safe place to get high. It just baffles me. It's like, they shouldn't be doing that in the first place. Like, and I know what you mean, because obviously, I bet the main deaths is obviously people like probably injecting with dirty needles, contracting HIV, etc. Probably all that type of viruses from it.
Of course,
that's probably obviously what the main thing is. The deaths are from. But obviously, it's not going to stop people doing that anyway. Like, you're still going to be in these rooms, probably sharing needles. I don't know what the ins and outs are. I guess they're going to provide safe equipment.
Oh, bro, so they walk in, they get checked in. The place they do it is like the whole room is covered in mirrors, so you can't even. Yeah,
that's spooky.
So no, they're like little bays. Do you know, like the voting poll ones? But the whole wall is covered in mirrors.
Needle.
Yeah, but the whole wall is like covered, so it's pretty. And then they've got medical bins as well. So everything is very like safe, controlled. Yeah, in that sense. And then also there are like health professionals around. So
it doesn't stop you from overdosing, though, does it? Like, it doesn't stop you from doing it.
Yeah,
from going crazy there.
I think it's just because there's people around. It's gonna be a lot more controlled in that respect. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think it needs to be seen.
I'm against it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm against it. I think we're encouraging people to do more drugs.
Yeah.
I think we're encouraging people, addicts in particular, to go and literally get high in a fucking safe place. Like, you're literally giving them a place to do it.
Yeah.
Like, they might be not wanting to do it because of the environment they're in, or the day, or these, but they can be like, actually, we can just go down to this drug consumption room. We're going to be safe. We're going to be safe needles. We're going to, do you know what I mean? It's just going to continuously just be something that is going to continuously happen.
It's easier to accommodate it rather than like dealing with the problem. I think it's a long shot. It feels like a long shot to try and get addicts to be like, hey, by the way, there are other health services you can use when you're speaking to them and they're trying to inject drugs into themselves. Do you know what I'm saying?
But I feel like, again, there's a lot more money. That money can be put into a lot more things that need tackling more. You know, we have knife crime on the up again. You know, we've had people die recently because of knife crime. We've had other, you know, just criminal things happening, and you know, things like, you know, areas not being developed, etc., etc. But we're gonna just basically fund an addicts.
Yeah, I mean, that, like, and
that's what it comes down to for me. It's like we're funding addicts who will obviously put it on themselves.
Yeah,
where we need support in other areas that are less developed, or knife crime, or, you know, all these things that are needing support that are massive, because, you know, somebody who doesn't get stabbed. Somebody who gets stabbed isn't like not wanting to go and get stabbed. They're not aiming to that. Do you know what I mean? Where with an addict, they're literally getting high. Like, they're doing it to themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a very controversial topic. When we need more funding for other things.
More funding, but I just see it from that other point of view of being like, whoever these people are trying to sort this out, they've definitely seen these things happening.
Yeah, of course.
And I think in that respect, it's like the only thing they can see in Glasgow is like, this is the only way, basically. This is our issue. Like, the way London and like knife crime is now being synonymous, it's like for Glasgow, they might be like, this is what we actually need to deal with. But I'm going to keep my eyes peeled on that one, because I want to see if it actually becomes successful, especially with the rates decreasing. But time will tell again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think it's a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's a very controversial topic. I think if it gets brought into the UK, it's gonna just be a massive thing where people are gonna be there, like who goes there, like how, like do you know what I mean? How do you say no to someone?
Yeah.
What type of drugs can you use there? Is it just heroin that they inject, or is it can you smoke there?
I think it's just injection because the
Okay.
bins are I think it's just injection based one. So and that's quite interesting that heroin is quite a high like a high thing out there right now.
Mad.
Do you know?
It's like it's an epidemic though, isn't it? It's like everywhere.
Exactly. But yeah,
Crazy.
But yeah, keep posted on that one. This has been a very like thoughtful episode.
This has been very much like deep topics. Like,
yeah. We hope you guys are enjoying. Nah, we ain't getting cancelled. But we know you guys are liking it. Thank you for coming so far to this.
And as always, if you fancy it, we're halfway through the one. We're just caught away in the episode. Let's just like, subscribe, and comment, all that good stuff. And if you're watching on Spotify, actually, if you're not watching on Spotify, if you're listening on Spotify,
that's it.
That's how we do it.
He's nailed it, guys.
If you're listening on Spotify, make sure to drop us a nice review or rate us out of 5. 5 is preferable, but it's your opinion.
Exactly.
But yeah,
I
feel like you've got a nice little positive story for us.
I got something that will spin it on this one now. So obviously, not sure if you're. I don't know why I looked to that camera when you can't. Don't go anywhere. But now, obviously, what I'm saying. What was I getting to? Basically, I'm a gamer. If you don't know, Tim's a gamer. We got a lot of mates who love games. So this one is for you guys out there. You guys and girls, shout out. We've realized there's been a study gone on that says playing video games improves aspects of daily life in this new poll. Okay. So nearly 3/4 of gamers are certain that video games has improved their lives. They did a recent survey in America. Of course, it's massive enough to do a survey like that. It's revealed that a lot of people, actually 72% of the gamers who were actually interviewed, said that they had realized there were good aspects that they developed from playing video games. And a lot of them said it enhanced parts of them. So there were things like 68 people said it's relaxing, said there's problem solving. Video game. That's why I'm like, you need to tell me. Critical thinking, hand-eye coordination. I'm like, cooperating with others, playing sports. They said it helped them with driving, cooking, physics. And also, what's funny is 14% of people said surviving the apocalypse. Games have helped them with.
They're shooters, bro. They sit there and play
straight up Call of Duty.
Zombies.
Call it COD Zombies. Yeah.
To be fair though, I hear that. I feel like I could patch up a wall or a door. Do you know when it's like
from Minecraft?
Box it all in. I can mine. I'll be able to mine. Mine's a little cave to survive.
Mine's a little cave. Yeah, make a little underground bit. Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness. That's a lie.
That's
the stress
respect.
I have from EA FC now, 24.
EA FC 24, sponsored by now.
Today, actually. No, what day are we on? Saturday. It was out yesterday.
It was out, yeah.
Full game was out yesterday, but I had a week early because I was just sweating it. I've had no life.
How has FIFA helped you, Tim? Has this...
Not a lot.
A lot more stress-inducing.
Stress.
Yeah.
Smashing the pad.
Hoping to go that 90th minute screamer goes in top bins. Yeah.
Quitting the games.
I find it interesting because I'm like, I've never, there's only been one game I've played once that was pretty no. When I used to play The Sims, I used to play The Sims massively.
Yeah, you did. I remember that at uni.
Like, I used to sweat that game
out.
And I got like a whole pin-up board of like, all right, this is basically the storyboard. So this is how Jack meets Jill.
Jack meets Jill. Did they go up the hill?
Nah, bro. They got a pail of water, though. Don't worry about that.
Water, bro.
But that's what
Energy
I mean.
crisis, bro.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you're asking, because I play games and I get so invested that it becomes a lot more stressful.
Yeah, but I do get where they're coming from, because do you know when you've been at work for the full day?
Sure.
And I literally go work. Sure. I go gym.
Sure.
Come back from the gym. The first thing I do is literally walk into my office, put my PlayStation on. And I just sit there, get stressed on FIFA.
You hear that? Man's got Office. Deep that, ladies and gentlemen. Nah. Smooth. He's got an Office, yeah? Carry on, G. Sorry. I'm trying to be like you. This year.
Anyway, so exposing me.
Yeah, bro. Respect. I respect.
So yeah, you know,
Come on.
walk into the office and the first thing I do is put that PlayStation on. And even though I do play EA, well, I feel have to say EA Sports, EA FC, whatever, FIFA basically.
FIFA 29. Yeah.
29. It just relaxes me. I do get that because it just relaxes me and calm me for. I mean, it doesn't calm me, but I just look forward to it. So I get where that's coming from.
Like a little dopamine here. Yeah. It's definitely not helped with my driving. Like GTA.
Even
5.
I bet people got the driving wheels, haven't they?
Yeah.
So if you're learning to drive, I bet you can kind of like, not a lot really, because obviously you're literally going like 100
miles on a racetrack.
And imagine you learn the test.
Put that
like, I've done this before.
It's fine. No. I've just got to do this and it goes, right? Yeah, M25, let's do it. You know what I'm saying?
Just doing 100. Learn to drive in a car like this.
Why are you driving so fast?
I don't know.
Let me explain, officer.
Right. But one thing I do want to end on before we do end.
Go on, bro.
I do want to do a recommendation for you.
Oh, right.
I got two.
Raw.
One's quite old, one's recent.
Okay.
Clarkson's Farm. I've wanted to get this off my chest for a lot of episodes. Clarkson's Farm.
I don't know what?
Jeremy Clarkson, yeah?
Oh, Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah, he does this thing
guy.
on Prime. He's got season 1 and season 2. It's called Clarkson's Farm.
Yeah.
And it's basically him on a farm, obviously. And it's how like a daily, he's like a year on a farm. So it goes through each season and it goes through how obviously he goes through it basically. And it's just so mad to like hear how a farmer does his day-to-day life like on a farm. On the season 1, sorry to spoil it, but if you do watch it,
you
have to
definitely.
Season 1, at the end of season 1, like he gets all his profits in, he pays everybody and etc. I think he makes like £178 in profit or £128. It's basically just over £100.
Oh wow.
So he's worked for a whole year and he's only made a profit of £120. So it just kind of brings light to how farmers struggle, but it's so funny, like because he has some characters on there as well who are just so funny, like and I was there like, I've heard so many people recommend it to me and I was there like, right, I'm gonna watch it. So I watched season 1 and I watched season 2 and I recommend it, bro. You'll be watching it and they're like, this is actually really good. Like
he said,
it's good. Trust me. So put that in your,
He's like, do it now. Do it now. I'm like,
put that in your notes.
Clarkson's Farm. Yeah.
And then another one is, I know we both watched this, which was The Boys.
Oh,
really liked it. Really liked The Boys.
Is that Gen V?
It's the Gen V thing that's come back. Well, not come back, but that's come.
Yeah.
I haven't looked too much in it. I've literally just seen it recently. But from what I understand, I believe it's just kind of like, it's literally what would be season 4? Would it technically be? With like a new. Well, it's technically season 1, but obviously it's like
it's a school.
It's so many years. It's basically the high school. I'm not too sure when it's set.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure if it's set in the same time or if it's gone ahead. But like I said, I just seen it and I was there like,
I need to watch.
If you like Boys, if you've watched Boys and you know what I'm on about, on Amazon Prime, then
Homelander,
I recommend it.
Butcher, all of them, man, jokers.
There was so much wild shit.
Mama's Milk. What was it? Mother's Milk or whatever it is called.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that she died. I was like, why are you killing her off? Like
the
mother.
It
was mad. I think the last season was just so much happened. So much happened. I was just stood there like. Sat there like, what is going on?
You were stood up watching it like, oh my God, I can't believe
I was brought into it so much.
Mate, I gotta check that out. Gen V.
No, trust me, Gen V and Clarkson's Farm. Next episode, he's watched it and he'll be there like, you were right, Tim.
I say,
TJ,
Tim, don't ever.
You was right. I'll be there like, yes, I told you.
We'll see about Clarkson's. Gen V, I'm interested. But I'm gonna check it out though.
But yeah. Well, been a good episode. I really like this.
It's been a really nice one.
Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've really like kind of what we've said today. And obviously, like I said, always put your your opinions in the comments. As always, like, subscribe.
Yeah, give us a share.
Share us around. Get them subscribes up on YouTube. We're aiming for at least 100 by the end of the year, hopefully.
Possible. Do you know what I mean?
Probably that's a bit overshot. I'm going to 50.
No. Don't go anywhere. Aim high. Aim high.
100 by the end of the year.
Come on.
We've got a lot of grafting to do now.
Bro, don't worry. Don't go anywhere. Is what I say. Don't go anywhere. But it's okay. Because we go somewhere.
Again, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Happy Thursday. Have a good rest of the week, and we'll catch you next month.
Take care.
Peace.
I'm a star. No, sorry, got my father needs